I never lose, either I win or I learn. Those are my only options, to whomever it may concern. About to be a hot topic, play with fire, you get burned. Ain't nobody give me nothing, whatever I got, better I earn. I never lose, but I learn. I either win or I learn. Those are my only options, to whomever.
We learned the hard way. We fucked up. We're not perfect, but the lessons we learn in life, they make us who we are, and here we are, starting fresh.
And we're really excited to share our journey going forward with all of you so that we can hold each other accountable through the weight loss journey. Our journey started back in March of 2020. Actually, if you've listened to our podcast, it actually started well before then. We've been, on this weight loss journey pretty much our entire life. But this particular journey, or part of our journey, started in March of 2020, where together we lost over 150 pounds. But then life hit big time in 2021.
Injuries, depression, deciding to sell our home because we needed new space, downsizing with 5 people and 2 dogs and a 2-bedroom house, and all this stuff started to add up where our whole regimen and routine got out of whack, where we were eating trash.
Yeah. And so it really affected our mental state, our physical state. Those of you who have been following along on this journey, I know you can see a difference when you look at us, when you see this on YouTube. And that's why we've started this, our journey. That's what we're calling this, our journey, because it's not just us, it's all of us together. And so we have a whole new page on veganstrongandfit.com called Our Journey, where we're going to be talking about every week something that has led us to success or maybe failure that we've learned from within the week to overcome and help us to continue on this. How we're going to do this the right way this time to make sure that we're able to support you, you're able to support us, and be sure to go on and follow us every week at veganstrongandfit.com/journey.
We're in this together.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strong AF podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Amir.
And today we have on another wonderful couple, which we've actually had Ricky on previously. So those of you who've been listening may recognize him. But we love doing these couple interviews. It's nice for us to be able to talk to other couples. So please welcome Ricky Prestige Leverett Jr. and Katrenia Turner. And both of these wonderful people are self-published authors. Ricky is a 3-time self-published author, and he is the author of the book Mind Alignment, Wake Up Your Stolen Greatness Through Mind Power. And he is a metaphysical motivational speaker, ordained minister of metaphysics, and spiritual influencer. He's been making waves lately in the social media world and recently amassing over 50,000 followers on TikTok in just a short time. And he shares videos teaching people about spirituality, self-growth. In these uncertain times, he's a daily dose of inspiration and wisdom to just so many people. And he's actually getting ready to release his next project, which is his 4th self-published book, Mind Alignment 2.0, The Paradigm Shift of the Black Mind, on the 22nd of February. And this book takes a metaphysical and spiritual look at how we can change our realities, both individually and collectively. And it's a paradigm shift of the Black mind, which means really a shift in your consciousness. And it's a book with a spiritual perspective of the paradigm shifting that's happening worldwide. All right, and then Katrenia Turner, she is a 2-time self-published children's author, speaker, and musician, and just a super passion for creating, and fascination with creation began as a child, where she would write songs starting at the age of 8, which is amazing, and ultimately after the death of her mother, when she turned her pain into music. And now she hopes to be able to heal others through her music and writing. And she's performed for many crowds, organizations, and her books are really helping children to learn to love themselves. So thank you so much. We're so glad to have both of you on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that great introduction too. I know it's kind of a lot, but thank y'all.
It's a real practice of breath work there.
Right.
That's why you do it and I don't.
So we're really glad to have you both on. I love just your backstory, and we've already gotten to really dive in deep with Ricky. But Katrina, can you tell us more about your story? I think you have an amazing story there with your creativity and writing.
Well, yes, as you said, my creativity all came from just having to deal with situations early in life, and I directed that energy elsewhere, and that became into writing poems, and then turning poems into songs. And you do that for a while, and it done it. And then the next thing I thought, after Ricky wrote his first book, which was the first one.
Mind alignment. Yep.
After he wrote Mind Alignment, I'm like, hey, okay, well, I know, like along with his book, you have to be mindful of your thought process. You have to be mindful of your thought energy. And I thought, what better way of helping spread that on a more elementary level than writing a children's book? So I did start off, my first book with Miss Turner's class on meditation, and it just starts with the basics of, being able to breathe and focus on things you love and trying to clear your mind. But if you can't clear it, it's okay, and just have positive thoughts and breathing just for a moment, it changed your day. And I thought, maybe with children, knowing that can help with their self-esteem, that can help with them being kinder to others, and even being able to plan and work out their future goals. Meditation helps with all of that.
That's
and
incredible.
Yeah. And then I went on, right after that, it's good to know about having self-awareness and self-love as well. So, and I'm just going on, but let me just hold it up. So this is the first one. Can you see it?
Yes.
And of course, it's me on meditation. And then I have the book about self-love. And the most important thing about the picture on this book is she's hugging self-love, because she finally found, that it's the most important part of living. It's knowing how to take time out for yourself and loving yourself. And so that's where I began.
That's awesome. And self-love is such a hard concept. I struggle with that myself, finding time for me, because I always sit here and, I think about my husband, I think about my kids, I think about work and all this stuff that has to get done. And really making time for yourself as an adult is difficult. And having these children books that teach you that at such a young age to really prioritize that is amazing, because that's where it starts.
Yeah, thank you. And that's very important. And those are things that we don't learn in school. So we end up being adults and, not knowing really how to deal with things. And it just starts back at the elementary. Just breathe and then just take time to love yourself and to look in the mirror and love yourself. That's important.
That reminds me of some stuff I help my kids with, where they're getting frustrated, and I tell them, just calm down, just take a moment, just breathe, just relax. Everything's fine. It's not as bad as you make it out to be, as bad as it seems. Just feeding life into them. Just believe in yourself, or you don't know how smart you are. Just look how far you came. You're already ahead a couple grade levels. Just relax. You're not gonna get everything. Everything's not gonna come so easy. Some things you just have to do over and over. Repetition. The more you do it, the easier it'll become.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's real.
It's very important.
Yeah, most definitely. So something too that I'm very intrigued about is the story of the two of you together, because it sounds like that you guys kind of feed off of each other's energy, and that's helped with both of your success.
Right. Yeah, I'll go into that, my at least from my perspective of how we came together, just to give people more of a backstory of our personal life. We basically came together at a job randomly. We were working together, and we had a lot in common at that time. And one of the main things that kind of gravitated us towards each other was, I think, of maybe our spiritual beliefs and our understanding of the world. We had questions. We were both searching, and then we kind of, I may have been a little bit ahead of her at that time, but as soon as I put her on what I noticed that she was really into it, and we kind of built it up together from that point. Our first date, or our first time together, we went, and I love y'all show because we get real up. But we were doing our first time together. We said, okay, we started talking about spirituality. We started talking about paranormal activity and stuff like that. And some people you can't talk to them about, and they think you're going crazy. And we went into that, and we did a little something together where we like turned off all the lights, and she was like, yeah, I can kind of feel spirits and feel energy. And I was like, check her out. Let's see how this works. You know what I mean? Just let's see what happens. And we turned off all the lights. We lit some candles. Well, we didn't even have no candles. We just turned the lights off. She started closed her eyes and started pointing different areas in the house. And she was telling me to take pictures of it. And wherever she would point. And I was like, this is interesting. And I took the pictures. And when the pictures came back, they all had like little orbs, like the white light, like an orb in the different places where she said. I said, okay, yeah, she on it. She's really on it for real. And then we just went from there. We started studying and building, and then we turned it into a business.
I love that.
Where was this place at where y'all was in the dark and started seeing
our house?
Let me tell you, it was an apartment, and I just knew I would have so many crazy things happen. My bathroom door would just lock by itself. I'm the only one. It would be so many crazy things happening, and I felt so, a lot of strong energy from being in there. I just knew it, and
it was interesting because it was at first I think it was, and you got to be aware of energy because it could be negative energy as well. And that's kind of how we got to studying. We dug into ourselves. We might not have been at a good point at that point, and we might have been attracting things towards us because we had some scary experiences. It's like Amir kept ticking, and we had, but we learned about cleansing and different things like that, and then we started getting more at peace with ourselves. And really, I feel energy, but I feel it on a positive way than that night. That was more scary, probably because we were, amateurs. But at the same time, I knew it was something bigger between the both of us to come together, and I felt like we could help a lot of people in that area. True story. And we had a lot after that, since then. It's regular now, really.
That's awesome. I remember when I was little, my grandma, she would tell us stories about the house that she lived in when she first got married, and people would think she was crazy, but I totally believe it. She said she would hear footsteps coming up the stairs, and then the doorknob would shake because the woman's clothes were locked in a trunk in the closet in the room where she stayed.
That energy was attached to that object. The energy was still there. So it's like, we're very close to the spiritual world. That's what we speak on all the time. And for the audience, since we didn't just jump out with the paranormal and different things like that, that's what we into: spirituality, metaphysics, and different things of that nature. So that's why we're speaking on that. But we're so close to the spiritual world. I personally believe that, you will have those encounters. You can have those, instances where that comes up. And a lot of times we're so scared that we don't know what to really do with those type of things. But, as we gain more knowledge and learn, and quantum physics finding out a lot of stuff, and when they finally say it's science, maybe more people will look a little further.
Yeah.
It's definitely started.
Yeah.
That's the strange thing. Like for me, when I notice certain energies and stuff, I'll get so invested in it where I'll kind of just zone out, where I'll just be sitting there just experiencing everything, taking everything in, and then somebody can walk up on me like, what are you over here doing? I'm like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just in my own world over here. And they look like you was zoned out. I was over there talking to you and this and that. Like, I was locked in. I couldn't.
Yeah. The mind is interesting because the mind can travel. When we can sit somewhere and we can travel to the future, but we want our future to be the past. We can be in the present. They say that's the best way to be, but the mind is a time traveler. So a lot of times we go into those different states of daydreaming, and that's what mindfulness meditation is about. As long as you can get into that certain brainwave state, that's where a lot of things you can imprint in your mind, and come up with your reality. That's that zone you got to be in, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Shut down that conscious mind for a moment.
So help somebody like myself who my brain never shuts off, and when I try to meditate, I can't stop thinking. So how do I get through that?
All right, so that's where practicing comes in. So it's this thing that where our mind is never going to stop talking. It's going to always have some type of traffic going on. So if you can't completely clear your mind, just think of, well, what they say, one thing is you can try to imagine a candle burn and try to focus on the flame. And just whatever positive thoughts you would like to have those. And any normal everyday thoughts, they say go ahead and deal with those thoughts, get them out the way, because that's what our mind does. So it's not all that bad that your mind doesn't get totally quiet. Okay. But what the thing you have to focus on is just trying to eliminate some of the traffic in your mind. And once that happens, they say you open yourself up to messages, you open your creativity up, you open up a lot of things because you're taking the patience, for one, to calm down and get in tune with yourself. So again, it's never going to be completely quiet. And like if you have to deal with a lot of traffic, just try to focus on one thing you like or two things you like. And like I said, if daily, I got a doctor's appointment come up, say, okay, well, I got that. I wrote that down, and, get rid of it. But that when you practice more, you'll be able to narrow those thoughts down to one thing. And then there you go. And then maybe you become a master and you're completely silent. But I've never had, complete silence. It's always something going on. You just control it, and focus on the positive in your life, and, get in touch with yourself.
That's an excellent tip. Lots of great advice there, and I will have to use that because I really struggle with that. Whereas I think Yuri, now maybe he just doesn't tell me everything, but I think his mind goes pretty empty quick, because I'll sit there and say, what do you think about it? He said nothing.
It's honest, huh? This is now that you talk about it. Exactly. Now that you talk about it. We had a story, what was it this week or last week? We were using this app, the Calm app, where they have meditations on there, where the guy's speaking calmly and everything. And I want to say before we started, our kids, they were probably doing something destructive or whatever. So I had to stop it and then yell at them, and then she started laughing. I was like, we can't even meditate in peace. And then it was maybe 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. And then we started getting into it and everything. And then towards the end, I don't know, my mind was in that place where I was blank, where I started to doze off. and I could hear myself. But I kicked myself, and she's over here laughing. She's like, you were out of it, wasn't you?
Yeah.
But you may receive a message of being out of it. So even being out of it, you may wake up, maybe all the way out of it, wake up and say, have an aha moment. So, you still pay attention to that.
Well, I had a great day that day. So whatever message, it was for me, and I received it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the meditation state is very close to sleeping, and that's where we began at. We would, and that'll probably be good for you as well, actually, with the, if you were to do like sleep meditations, where people actually talk you down into the guided meditation with the headphones, or with me and her, we'll just put on tones and go to sleep with the tones playing, like put it on the TV or have a phone beside us, or we'll get one of those little small sound spas and you could play like the rain and different things like this. And while you're asleep, that's the best time to imprint your subconscious. You're going to wake up with a different vibe. And plus, you don't have your conscious mind to chase you away from that peace for that moment. So that's a way around it. And then when you be awake and you start doing meditation, you'll notice that you're better at it based on those sleep meditations. They all over YouTube, and we got a couple of them as well on the Insight Timer dashboard. That's where I teach meditation at, and Insight Timer. So, we got a lot of things there too that can even help.
That's great, because I definitely need some help getting into that place.
Yeah, don't feel bad. That's regular. Like, that's the start of it.
And I like to add, when he said imprint, that's a good time to listen to affirmation. That's a good time to, like you said, listen to the frequency vibrations of love, of positive energy, just going to sleep. And you can do a lot of good for yourself, popping on a pair of headphones and just going to sleep, listen to something like that. And that's how you imprint.
And it's gonna knock you out too. You're going to sleep. If you have any problem with insomnia, I suggest on YouTube, Jason Stevenson. He's gonna put you to sleep instantly. That's our boy there. We because sometimes it be sketchy with some people, but
trust everybody talking to you while you go to sleep.
Right, you're in a hypnotic state, so you don't want people. You don't know who they are on YouTube, but Jason Stevenson, that's a good place to start. He got like 1 million followers, so that's a good place to go there.
Definitely, I'll check him out.
Yeah, you going to sleep. You make sure the children sleep.
Might be 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Might be.
We just wake up like, what happened? That's how good it is. For real.
Seems like this is something I need to start playing on the kids' Alexa.
Oh yeah, they go to sleep. We put it on them too. Yeah, we put that in ASMR. She loves ASMR and stuff like that. So we do the meditations for them too. Yeah, they knocked out. Better than melatonin.
That's good. Since you brought up the affirmations, I started in the morning when I'm getting the kids' breakfasts together. Nice. I sit them on the couch and let them listen to affirmations on YouTube, kid affirmations. And it's funny because our 3-year-old, he's over here mumbling the words, whatever they're saying. He's trying, but it worked because they're in a great mood after that. Instead of over here fussing at me and telling me I want this, I want that.
Yeah,
it's a great way.
Did it help? It helped. Did it help?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the children and like Trina said earlier, it's better to start early because then it's regular to you. It's something that you can go to and you've been doing it your whole life. And at the age of 3, you're still soaking in, you're imprinting your mind the first 7 years. So he's already ahead of the majority of the population just by being instilled with positive things than negative, especially while his brain developing. So that's tight that you're doing that and knew to do that.
The big thing is our 4-year-old was having a lot of behavioral issues. So he was, and we're still, struggling a little bit, but it's gotten a lot better with the yelling, the aggravation, the hitting, crying, screaming. And since we've started implementing these things, it's gotten so much better.
That's good. That's what people need to know. They need to, we have to take the spooky part out of a lot of these things and really recognize the scientific benefits to it and what it does to your brain and the development of the children. And we just came up with whatever our parents was telling us that become our voice. Yeah. They get even recordings and imprint their mind while they sleep and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a generation a lot more confident and not just going for anything. They already doing that. They don't take the normal things no more. We get a little frustrated, but we were the ones that started. We keep the door in for them to think this way. So we better get ready because they're going to be different.
Exactly. It's going to be a really big culture shift across everywhere. And I think we're already starting to see that with some of the new entries into the job force, and kids coming up are a lot more social and empowered. And really ready to make changes. And I think it's great. But, we've got a lot of especially the older generation that's really struggling with that change and that shift.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what would you consider the older generation? What ages?
Well, to me, I just automatically think about like my grandparents' generation.
Okay. Okay.
Those
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
are still, a lot of them are still in the workforce. They're trying to hang in there and and continue that on. And it's a difficult mindset shift for them because that's just what they're used to. And so a lot of times in like corporations and things, what you see is you've got younger management coming in, wanting to make changes, wanting to make shifts, but you have the higher ups, the executives that are in the older generation and they're stuck in their ways. And so you've got this big battle between leadership itself, and you want to make a shift, but it's so hard.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree. Like it's because it's even hard for us to catch up. That's why I said what I said when I asked how old it was, because I'm 36. So and I go on TikTok and I hear the next generation coming up and they calling us old. They like, if you was born in like 98, you old. I'm like, what?
I refuse to accept that.
I'm like, this time is really moving. So I think it's like, even with us, we, like I say, we kick the door in. They may not acknowledge us doing that because we've been studying, we've been learning, we've been talking about work-life balance, mental health and things like that. And then they come in and kind of, scoop it up. But yeah, we're getting, but I have to be aware of my age and what my role is into it. And I have to step into that teaching role because there's a lot of people that's, a lot younger, but they got real life things going on, like 22, 23 and stuff like that. And it just kind of shocked me how fast time went in that, that they're listening to us and they're learning from us. And then we got the kids, then we got the older generation. Like my parents, they're learning from me. Finally, they starting to listen too. Like I went to the doctor, I'm stressed. I was like, Mom, try to meditate. She's like, I'm gonna try that. I don't know if she did or not. But, she at least asking questions. So that's good. This is a good time to be alive, I feel like, for both sides.
It is. I love it. Like one of my best friends, she's actually like closer to my mom's age. And so to me, she's my mentor. But she tells me all the time that I'm her mentor and her coach because like she's trying to learn, how things are now, especially like in the IT field where we're at and the e-commerce. Yeah. And, she's trying to learn that. And so she's looking to me for guidance. And it just, when she first told me that, I was like, really? Like, wow.
She didn't know you putting her on game. Like they need that at this point because it's fast, it's moving fast, and the people that's willing to change, they can fit right in. It's not really an age to it. It's just a thing of accepting the change and not being afraid of change because a lot of people fear new technology and things like that. I try not to look at it that way because I know it can get out of hand, but I've used it and I try to look at the positive benefits that all of this technology and connection is bringing to the world. And I try to keep a positive outlook with it. But it can turn ugly, but that exists, with anything else.
Yeah, I agree. I think, there's a lot of technology coming and it can be a bad thing if you look at it in that way, but it can also be a really great way to kind of unify if we use it for the right objectives. Yeah,
for sure. Because they're thinking about making robots and everything. I know that's going to make it easier for a lot of people, but at the same time, people may lose jobs because of that. So it's like a catch-22, but you got to keep up in order to be able to, benefit. Because if one thing is lost, something new is going to take its place. You just have to be willing to catch it. And that's why I go into the book with paradigm shift. And I'm glad that it's a paradigm shift because I didn't fit in the last paradigm at all. With the thought process, or people thought we were crazy. Remember? Still do sometimes, but sometimes, but they see the because they'll eventually see the fruits of your labor though, so you can't deny results, so we don't think we that crazy. I think we got something up our sleeves to
crazy is okay. You know, Yuri tells me all the time I'm crazy, but I'm the good crazy, so I'll take it. You know.
Yeah, you just do it. But I feel
So speaking about your new book coming out tomorrow, actually on the 22nd. So tell us more about what we can expect to find in that, and what's different from your first mind alignment.
Yeah, for sure. So it's Mind Alignment 2.0, the paradigm shift of the Black mind. See, the first book was more focused on just the study of the mind, reprogramming the mind, meditation, spirituality, different things like that. And it was a universal book, educational. This I put a more of a target audience of being, Black, the Black mind. And I'm going to go into details of how maybe we've been programmed through history, how we've been programmed through music, how we've been programmed through culture and different things of this nature, and just kind of pull the veil back on the mental aspect or the mental change that's been on our mind from things that, may have been fed to us or we even accepted, So it's a metaphysical book. It's a spiritual book. It speaks on manifestation, speaks on DNA. I got science in there. I got so many different ways to go at it. And I just feel like it will really help people to be able to see, but one, the paradigm shift that we're going through based on the cycles, and then going into our role as Black people into that cycle. It's not a racist book, anything like that. It's just more of a target towards African Americans, with me being African American with us, and I just felt like I think the core of everything is the mental state or the mind. And I feel like a lot of people, when you look at teachers like about law of attraction in the mind and different things like that, you don't really see too many African or Black teachers. So I want to put a role there. And I think that's the foundation of change, the mind. It helped me. So whatever helped me, I'm going to put it in the book to help another. Yeah.
That's the thing about most people. I can't stand when somebody's so negative on themselves, or just want to throw these pity parties where they're just so down. And I just sit there and listen to it and just like, what we gonna do about it? we just gonna sit in this, or we gonna speak about doing something to change it? It's just mind boggling.
Yeah. That's that, and I go into that. That would be like I speak on victim consciousness, and I speak on you claim victim long enough, you become your own oppressor. That's the whole point of the beginning programming, is to let it run on it by itself, where you self-sabotage yourself after a while. And that becomes that victimhood. That becomes, the white man hold us back, or, this person hold us back. And that's not what kind of book this is. This is an empowering book to let you know that you have the power. And if you accept somebody else's reprogramming, then that's pretty much on you. And that's what's going to come about. Yeah, I'm like you, bro. I don't want to hear that no more. We heard it enough. So it's time to do something about it. And we got the opportunity and the chance and the outlets to do it with platforms like y'all's. And I'm glad y'all allow us to speak this way. And people listen to this now. So it's the time. And I want to be in the right position. We want to be as well.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to what you were saying about playing the victim, I think a lot of people are scared to get out of that victim role. They have comfort in that victim role because that's what they've become used to, and it's a difficult change to get out of that.
Yeah. What you say about the Facebook and somebody being sick in the hospital, what you were saying, like
oh my God, when I say it's like they wait for the moment to videotape themselves being sick or take pictures, and you just wonder, why would you want someone to see you in that state? It's like, what's the purpose? And and you grown, and took your arm work for you to take the picture, so it just seems like it's not focused in a right place.
Yeah.
And people get, I guess you would say, complacent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know someone personally, I wouldn't dare say her name, his or her name, but it's like every month it's something. They're in the hospital taking pictures, this sharing it. And it's like, how do you expect to get, like my grandmother used to say, how do you expect to get out of that rut if you keep enjoying it so much, you know, by feeding on it? So definitely don't, you know, we don't believe in that, and that's totally the wrong direction to go in when you're trying to have change. You got to think different. You got to, what they say, if you want something different, you have to do something different. And like you're trying, meditation is a good way of starting. Like I said, get in touch with oneself, and you may have to face demons. When we first started out, and it may sound crazy or spooky, but I'm just saying, when we first started out, we would have to look up little things. You know, we would see, I can't remember if Ricky did too, we would see skulls, we closed our eyes and tried to meditate, or we would see crazy stuff or have crazy thoughts. But we learned that that's a mechanism used by our own selves to keep us from trying to meditate. Oh, I saw that. No, let me not do that. No, it's like, oh, okay, hey, I see you. All right. Let me deal with you while you're here. Okay, now you can go and let me get in touch with myself. So, you know, that's something also. Like, you're trying to practice on your meditation.
I think that goes for anything. Like, before you can move on and really make progress in your life, you have to deal with your past, and that can be really hurtful. Like, I know that Yuri and I, we did therapy a few years ago, and I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna talk about each other, you know, we're gonna like sit here and have some kind of rant session or something. But like, it was 90% we had to focus on ourselves and like why we were that way and get through our trauma. And I was like, oh my God, like I remember the first session, I was like, this is too much. But I mean, like, seriously, it came out so much better by facing those. And I still come through times and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, okay, but I know why. This is a trigger for me. This is now how I can deal with that.
And those are what some of those distractions are when you're trying to meditate. Their triggers or their past traumas. And it's like, hold up, let me make sure she don't get past this part and get to know herself better. Let me know, let me appear in some type of way of distraction. And you just, like I said, you find a way to work with that. Everybody's gonna have their different way of, you know, quieting that or dealing with that or bypass it, or however you can do that. But it's certainly, you know, something is, you have to work at it, and it gets better. It gets better and easier the more you do it.
Yeah, like you said about therapy, oh my goodness, that made peel back so many rugs, go through stuff about, brought back stuff as a kid, and like, oh my goodness, oh, that's why I'm this way? Oh, because of that, because I chose that, that's why I'm sitting like, oh my goodness, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, I'm still holding on to this. I need to forgive that past life. I'm good now. And then learning all these affirmations and self-love and meditation, where you start to get more confident and believe in yourself, and then you start to get a little overconfident. And I don't know. It's just,
you're gonna get humble.
One of the best things that I think we learned, like, to better ourselves as a couple is taking those positive affirmations that you give yourself. And anytime you do something to aggravate the other person or make them upset, you have to tell them 3 things that you like about them. And that was you, because I mean, think about, like,
when
you're in the middle of
somebody, it's like, I want to talk to you. You just push my button. Now I gotta sit here and tell you, you're a great listener. I really care about you.
Exactly.
But
take their hand and you tell them what you like about them while you're upset. The hardest thing you will do, but it has really helped.
I'm gonna take those. We need to take those points. We far from perfect. Know that.
Yeah, we make that all day.
So you trying to be funny?
I love your smile. All day.
Okay. But you're right though. That's real, and that's and I think people need to hear that, because people think people's stuff be perfect, and they think that, they think that just because we show good online, we come together, we're a good team, definitely. But at the same time, a team has their battles and has their ups and downs and their fights. And what you said, Rue, was real for y'all to be willing to go to therapy and learn that. I think with us, we did it self-taught, basically. You know, I know a lot of psychologists. I went to school for that and stuff like that. Not a mental health therapist or anything, but all of these things that we talking about with the mind and reprogramming, that's that shadow work, that's that trauma. And I go into that, and I go into intergenerational trauma, where it's not just me, it's my daddy, it's my granddaddy, it's my grandmother on this side. There's so many wounds inside of us wounds in power inside of us, and we have to peel back those layers. But first we got to get our life right. And you mostly childhood is the reason why you a lot of ways that you are now.
We're grown-up children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We learning as we go. We still learning.
That's it.
I saw like the most powerful TikTok the other day, or at least it really resonated with me. And it was this woman who was, you know, basically pretending to be like her child and, you know, having an absolute meltdown. But then it showed like, as an adult, what if we spoke to each other the way that we speak to our child? My car's not running. I can't get to work. I'm not going to make money. How am I going to pay the bills? And you're just like, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Go sit down. Like they're having these same types of struggles and anxieties that you're having, but we just dismiss them.
Yeah, because they don't know how to bring it up in conversation. They don't know how to present it to themselves, so they lash out, so they yell, they scream, because they don't know how to communicate that out.
Yeah. And just the inner child in that TikTok that you mentioned, like speaking to your inner child, that's an actual exercise you can do in certain meditation. Like we were saying before, where the mind can go anywhere. The mind can go to the past, and it can go to, if you're ready, it can go to that traumatic spot and actually change it, or change the way you view it, and be able to heal that way. So inner child work and shadow work is like the only way to do it. A lot of people are scared of the dark, but that's where the light at, really, you know. So and then you feel so much better when you get it off. You didn't even know you needed it off most of the time until it's gone, and you feel that release. I feel better. I'm treating people a little better, you know, and not as triggered by certain things. But it's a daily, every day you're doing this. So it's never easy, even if you write a book about it, you know.
It goes all back to that saying, if you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else?
Exactly.
Start with self.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
That's square one. That's the foundation.
A lot of times that's the hardest person to love is yourself.
Yeah.
They're our worst critic.
Speaking of that, what you just said, Ricky, that reminds me of myself. Like, not knowingly, I must have been so deep and went back into a amount of time where I was younger, where I got my hurt comes from my dad, with him being addicted to drugs and sort of breaking up the family and never getting that why I did this. No, this is my fault. I never blame myself, but I don't know, you just not having that love from the one person you look up to, your father and stuff like that, where the older I've gotten, where I've probably went back to amount of time and just kind of forgave myself, forgave him, to where 10 years later, we're having a conversation, me and him, and he's sitting here telling me, like, yeah, this was all on me, and I chose this and that over y'all. And then it's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been dying to hear. And then for him to say it, I'm like, oh, this ain't had that effect that I thought it was gonna have. I was like, so I must have already dealt with this demon and everything.
So that goes back to, starting with self. Your father, you're not perfect. You make mistakes. And if you can start there, you can open up your heart and time and mind to forgive your parent, and then maybe open up that door for you to say that. So again, still it starts with self.
And you just hit a good point, like you said, with and that's the reason why I'm keying in on Black trauma and things like that, because that's a story that everybody pretty much has in their family. It might not have been your father, but I guarantee anybody looking at this probably have somebody that was on drugs, some crazy. Y'all might have thought he was funny and everything or whatever, but that's traumatizing. It's normalized, but it's traumatizing for us as we get older. And that's why I key in on that, because I know that's an everyday struggle and an everyday story, especially when it comes to father figures. Like, that's and as a man, me personally, that I had my father around. I have my father around, but even with him around, you have to heal from things he may have said, things he, some of his ways that I took on that I don't agree with, at this point. Not saying he's a good or a bad man. I just didn't, I don't have to take on the same things, but it's a constant healing, because even with having your parents, they're not going to be perfect. So you have that struggle of healing yourself so you could be a better parent. And just know we're gonna slip too, though. I think I already have. It's so easy to slip with your children because you're learning at the same time. So don't be hard on yourself as a parent, especially if you're not, especially if you're there. Like, yeah.
And we kind of joke about it a little bit, but yeah, we kind of joke about it a little bit, but we were so young when we had YJ. He's our oldest, and we were like, "Yeah, you were the test dummy. We were trying to get it right on you before we moved on to your brothers." Like, and it's kind of a joke, but I mean, it's kind of real too, because we tried, we made mistakes, we learned from it, we changed it.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't get the affirmations. He probably didn't get the affirmations at first, but it's coming down, though. It's coming down. You know what I mean? So I'm with you, like, and that's part of our new our shift is with our generation raising these children and trying to raise them different, and knowing that. And I came to the conclusion that I'm not going to be perfect. And when I did that, I was like, I'm just going to do my best and hope for the best with it. And you know what I mean? But they're going to have things they're going to not like about me. I already know. And it's just part of being human. But I'm not going to damage them purposely. I'm going to try to fulfill them as much as I can. But I'm going to make mistakes. And when I accepted that, I was able to accept my parents' mistakes. I was like, that's why they acted that way. Because this ain't easy. You're a human too. So I started really being able to forgive them for whatever they did and be proud of them for sticking with it. Because this is not easy. I know.
That's when you had that Allah moment. You're like, oh, that's why mama was like that. That's why she reacted like this. I was cutting up. I deserved everything she gave me. I text my mama, call her mama. My fault.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
That's how put on a lot. In the spring froze a little bit, I think, though. But when it comes to things that trigger you now, and you be frustrated and you wonder why mom used to come in there slamming dishes and stuff. Now you understand, like, this, y'all aggravating, y'all getting on my nerves. You know how it works. Don't worry about this. Let me go meditate first, and then I come back out different with them, maybe. Depending on how hard the meditation was and how aggravated they are. But I love them,
That's the key thing. Once you know about yourself, like me, if my energy wrong, I'm gonna distance myself. Like I gotta get away from this because I'm in the negative. I gotta get right, and then I can be back with everybody. So I don't want to throw everybody else off. Because with being in my household, I live by the saying that with me being like the head of the household, I'm the thermostat. I set the temperature. If I'm heated, everybody gonna go off. The youngest is gonna be in the mood, wife is gonna be in the mood. But if I'm cool and everything, I may be able to calm them down and everything. But that's hard. It's hard.
So I work from home and we homeschool our kids, and then so Yuri will be in there, and I'll start to hear him getting frustrated with an assignment or something, and I'll have to take a break, and I'm like, "Hey, babe, you want to go talk for a minute? You all right?" Need some time away sometimes.
Yeah, you need that. Like I don't think we were built to be 100% positive, always in a good mood, but to have the knowledge and the techniques to get back right and get back centered, that's the part that helps you out, because a lot of people, we live living in a high-induced stressed environment, period, especially with the pandemic going on. So people have to find ways to calm themselves and, get back in tune with their internal aspect, because the outside is going to look different when you handle your inside. But if you, focus on everything, the children, everything, trying to do that and trying to do it from that state of mind, it's only going to be aggravating, and everybody probably going to get disturbed by the end of the day, by the end of it. So, we all learning techniques and things to do to calm down in those moments and know that it works. It really does. It changes the whole environment. Like you said with the thermostat. When I change my energy, she changed hers. Or if her energy off, I might weigh that on me. Now we are. And as men, we just be like, what's wrong? What's the matter with you? Why you at it?
Wanting to fix, just trying to fix, not even
what's
listening
wrong
to
with
it.
you.
Yeah, you just want to fix it. What can I do? How can I fix it?
You
mad what they done did. Just not even listening to what it is. Maybe she just wants to be heard, talk it out. Dang.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I'm not 100%. That's what it is. Okay.
Sometimes we just like to be in the mood. We don't know why.
Exactly.
That's love us.
Yeah. Sometimes we just gotta get it out. We gotta get it off our mind.
Yeah, that's it. I remember that.
So everybody, listen, we've had some amazing conversations today, incredible inspiration, and you have to go out and get these books. I mean,
show them again.
For these children and for yourself, everybody needs a mind shift.
That's it. Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. So it's Miss Turner's class on meditation. Can you see it?
Yes.
See that? You can see Miss Turner looks like me. Okay. And then Miss Turner's class on self-love. And you can find it on Amazon.
And also, you can find it on our new website. We just launched it, www.mindalign369.com. That's all the books are there as well, but Amazon is definitely there. And with my book, we got Mind Alignment, Wake Up Your Stolen Greatness Through Mind Power. Of course, that's the beginning one. Then we have the workbook that goes with it, which is now on Amazon and also on the website. Mind Alignment Manifestation Workbook. That goes into a lot of things we were saying about self-healing and trauma and different things, and different exercises. And then we got the children's book. Yeah, my children's book, which is Amir's Hidden Superpowers. So it's about a little boy named Amir, and he's learning from his parent what his superpower is, and his superpower is being able to use his mind and manifest his reality. So he got a superhero in there, Super X, which is subliminally Malcolm X. So I try to put a lot of subliminals in it so they can be able to get a lot out of just one book. But it's a good story, though.
Yeah. Awesome. And then your new book coming out tomorrow. So we have to make sure that we get a hold of that as well.
Before we go, let's talk about the significance of 2/2/22.
Oh yeah, well, when I was thinking of when I wanted to drop it, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that it's in sync with the energy at that time. So I know about synchronized numbers, and I always see like 222 and angel numbers, and they have different meanings. With the 222, it was dealing with like protection, angels, and things like that, and being amongst you. And I just thought about love. I thought about February. I thought about Black History Month, and I just thought it all went together. And plus, that's just cool that it's February 22nd, 2022. So 2/2/2/2. And when we go into synchronizing, that was all about healing and transformation and angel protection. So that's why I chose that date. Tomorrow it's out. It will be on Amazon, Mind Alignment 2.0, The Paradigm Shift of the Black Mind. And I think you should get it if you're interested in it. It doesn't matter if you're not Black, even if you're not Black, still a lot of good insights in it. Teaching you about your mind, shifting our minds in this time, going into that trauma, going into pretty much everything this conversation was about, summing it up, basically, because we talk about relationships and everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. I can't wait for that to come out. And in addition to all of your books, where can everybody find you guys?
For sure. Oh, okay. Well, mine is Facebook is Ricky Prestige, Leverett Jr. A lot of knowledge being spread, different videos, things like that. But I'm real active now on TikTok at Prestige Speaks. That's Prestige Speaks, one word. I got over 50. I think I'm at 52, almost 52,000 now followers. So I'm getting to a lot of people and getting the message out there to a lot of folks, and that just goes to show the shift that we're in, that people want this information and they like the way I'm teaching it, because it's not just mine, it's universal now. Oh yeah, you spell Prestige Speaks, it's Prestige, Speaks, SPEAKS, and that's also the same for my Instagram. And our website, we got a lot. And our website is www.mindalign369.com. We got our books there now, but we're going to have a metaphysical library coming soon. That's going to have a lot of PDFs you can download. And it's just going to be like a library of books, not just my books, just things that have taught me and helped me with the book. And you'll be able to get a lot of spiritual items as well.
And myself, I could be found on Facebook as Katrenia Turner. Also as Sedge Songbird on Instagram, YouTube, and also TikTok. You can listen to some of my music there on my little videos.
Yeah, she kept it a secret with her music though. She's a songbird. That's her real passion. You know, I kind of pushed her towards the books, but her real passion is music, and she has a beautiful voice. So if you want to do that, or book her for that, we minister and singing wedding package. Yeah, if you need something like that, we ordain to marry you.
Awesome. I love it. I can't wait to check you out and follow you and hear that beautiful voice. And I will include everything in the show notes too, because I know we've got a lot of good information and tidbits and wonderful places to follow you guys. So all of our listeners can find all of that information in the show notes. So don't worry about missing any of that. And as always, it was wonderful to have you on. I appreciate getting both of you on here and being able to have this.
Thank you.
For sure. Thank your audience. Thank y'all for listening. Many blessings to all of you, and of course the host. And we appreciate y'all support all the time. Thank you.
Thank you.